Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now you guys have already seen the title, so you know we're talking about both these cameras and we've had them on the market for a little while now. But over the last 1 year, GoPros have really been blowing up. Everybody who's anybody has now been gravitating towards these tiny little cameras, and they've become so popular because of how small they are, because of how portable they are, because of how rugged they are, and because of the amount of resolution that GoPro has managed to pack into these tiny little cameras, giving you such amazing quality and something that just fits in your pocket. Overall, GoPros have been going completely crazy, and over time, a lot of YouTubers have started using GoPros as their main and primary cameras. Now, over the last few months, a lot of people have been asking me questions about which GoPro camera they should actually buy when they're setting out to buy their first GoPro, whether they should buy the Hero 9 Black or they should buy the GoPro Max. These are the most popular and powerful cameras that GoPro actually makes, and they're extremely similar while being really different at the same time. I know this was a little confusing, but wait, I'm going to tell you more about this. So the GoPro Max is a 360 camera at its core, and the Hero 9 Black is a standalone action camera at its core. But when you look at the similarities, they both are great for taking quick photos. They both have great HDR processing on the inside. They're really good for vlogging. They both can work underwater. They have amazing time warp and time lapse capabilities, and they have amazing stabilized video. At the end of the day, they both are GoPros, and they have that special GoPro feature list packed into them, which makes them so similar even though they're extremely different cameras on the overall. Now, while it's really hard to answer the question about which GoPro camera you should buy, whether you should buy an action camera or a 360 camera, and it's going to come down to what you really need these cameras for, whether you need a 360 camera or an action camera, that's completely on you. But since these cameras are so close, it does get a little unnerving if you're going to go out and buy your first camera, and especially if you're unsure about the kind of content that you want to create. So in today's video, we're going to do a comparison between the GoPro Hero 9 Black and the GoPro Max 360 camera, and I'm going to show you exactly what their drawbacks are, what their limitations are, and what they excel at, so that you can make an informed decision and figure out what camera you should actually go out and buy. Let me run down the specs of the GoPro Max for you really quick and in short. This is a 360 camera, which basically means it has two lenses. One is over here and one is over here. It comes with a single screen that can be used for vlogging. If you use the camera like this, you use this lens and you use this vlogging screen. It shoots 360 video, which basically means you do not need to frame your shot. It shoots it at 5.7K at up to 30 frames per second, which is fantastic. You can also shoot at 3K at up to 50 or 60 frames per second to give you 360 video slow motion. It can also shoot in hero mode, which is basically like a traditional GoPro, using any one, the front or the back lens, depending on what you want to do and how you want to use it. In this mode, it can only give you up to 1440p or 1080p resolution depending on the aspect ratio that you use, and can only shoot at up to 60 frames per second. Overall, it's a hero camera as well as a vlogging camera as well as a 360 camera all in one. You can shoot amazing time lapses, time warps within this. It does come with max HYPERSMOOTH stabilization, which is GoPro's best stabilization mode inbuilt, and it also has the widest lens possible, which I'm going to show you in a bit. It also comes with some great photo mode. You can shoot the best and the easiest panoramic image on the market on any camera on this camera, and it also has your GoPro HDR processing in its photographs, so that's going to work out really well. It doesn't come with any night mode specifically, so that's a drawback. When we go out and shoot and we test out every capability, I'll show you more about that. Now, this is the GoPro Hero 9 Black. It's primarily an action camera. It comes with one lens. You have a large screen at the back. You also have a front-facing screen that was added this year for vlogging. You can shoot at up to 5K at 30 frames per second. You can also shoot at 4K up to 60 frames per second. You can also shoot slow motion at up to 120 frames per second, which is fantastic. You have the ability to shoot time warps and time lapses just like you have on the GoPro Max. Although the Max can also do that in 360 mode, this only shoots in traditional 16:9 aspect ratios or 4:3 aspect ratios. It's got HYPERSMOOTH 3.0, which is also GoPro's latest and most advanced HYPERSMOOTH within the action cameras. It's got a bunch of different digital lenses. It's got night modes in time lapse as well as in photo mode, and it can also shoot super photo, which is GoPro's main HDR photo processing mode, which is fantastic. So it's really powerful, and this is the 9th generation of the hero camera that GoPro's been making, which is extremely popular. Okay, so now that we're done with the specs on both these cameras, we're going to head out. We're going to do a couple of tests, just give you a little bit of a demo on what the image quality actually looks like, what the stabilization looks like, and then we're going to come back in, we're going to talk about this, and I also have a whole set of tips that are lined up for you at the end of this video that's going to help you make a decision which camera out of these two that you should actually go out and buy. Pointers and facts that I'm going to be telling you at the end of the video are going to be extremely important in your decision making ability, so definitely watch this video till the end, because these are some things that you really need to consider. Let's do this. What's up, you guys? We are now outside testing out both these cameras. A lot of the B-roll that you just saw of the area that I'm living at right here in Delhi was basically shot using the slow motion capabilities of the Hero 9 Black as well as the GoPro Max. I'm currently filming this on the Hero 9 Black and I have the Max right here. I'll be using either of these cameras to vlog right now, so it's also going to be running like a vlogging test. The audio is directly from the Hero 9 Black and we're not using any external microphones for any of these vlog tests that we're having right now. So something that I want to point out about the slow motion capabilities of these cameras, the GoPro Max can only give you 60 frames per second at 1080p resolution, and it can do 360 slow motion at 3K at 60 frames per second, but then the resolution drops way too much and I'm not going to be using the 360 on the Max to compare these cameras, whereas the Hero 9 Black has much more capable slow motion options built into it, where you have 2.7K 120 frames per second, you have 4K at 60 frames per second, and you can even go up to 240 frames per second at 1080p. So overall the options on the Hero 9 Black are a lot better. So if you're looking at slow motion capabilities as a point of judgment about whether you want to buy the Hero 9 Black or you want to buy the GoPro Max, I would definitely say the Hero 9 Black is a better bet. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be testing out is time warps. Now, if you don't know what time warp is basically GoPro's terminology for a hyperlapse. So we're going to be shooting hyperlapses on the Hero 9 Black as well as the GoPro Max. And I'm going to put it up on the screen for you guys to decide which one you like better. The next thing we're going to be testing out is HYPERSMOOTH stabilization. Now, to be completely honest, HYPERSMOOTH is really good on both these cameras. It doesn't matter which one you buy. The GoPro Max may be a little bit more stable when you're shooting in 360 mode. Now, that's just the advantage of shooting with a 360 camera. 360 cameras are a lot more stabilized than regular action cameras. If you just look at plain HYPERSMOOTH, both these cameras are insanely stable. This part is not the smoothest part to be running on, so I'm just going to do a quick jog test with both the cameras in my hand. Okay, so the next thing that we're looking at today is the photography option that you have between the GoPro Hero 9 Black and the GoPro Max. Now, to be completely honest, the GoPro Hero 9 Black just has more options, and that's just a fact of this camera. It's packed up with specs and it's GoPro's powerhouse camera that's in the market. You have night mode photography in this, and it's a better photography camera. Whereas the GoPro Max is a little bit different, where it can take photographs and it still has the super photo mode in it, but it has no options for night photography. Basically, between the two cameras, the Hero 9 Black is definitely going to be a better option and it's definitely going to be a better camera to use. But when it comes to daytime photography, both these cameras are very, very close, and the GoPro Max has an advantage with daytime photography where you can shoot 360 photos on this. You can also shoot the best panoramic images on any camera in the market. It's the easiest to shoot panoramas on this camera. Let's check out a few examples. Now, we all know GoPro introduced digital lenses into their cameras a couple of years ago, and there are a few options on both these cameras with respect to digital lenses. So we're going to go down and preview all the lenses that you have available on the Hero 9 Black and then on the GoPro Max. Let's check this out. Okay, so now we're going to do a quick vlogging test on the Hero 9 Black, and then we're going to do a quick vlogging test on the GoPro Max. But in order to have a great vlogging camera, you need to have three things built into the camera. One is great stabilization, the second is amazing audio, and the third is a wide lens with great image quality. We know we have great image quality and stabilization on both these GoPros, but which one has better audio? So this is an audio test on the GoPro Hero 9 Black. I do not have any media mod attached. I don't have any external mics attached to this. I have a mask, so the audio is going to be a bit muted. What do you think? This is an audio test on the Hero 9 Black. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've already seen the audio test on the Hero 9 Black. Now this is an audio test on the GoPro Max. No external mics attached. I have a mask on, so the audio may be mute. Tell me what you guys think. Now, another common question about these cameras that we keep getting asked is which camera has a wider lens for vlogging? And the widest lens that you have on the GoPro Hero 9 Black is the Super View lens, which I'm using right now. This is super wide. I am shooting this in 4K at 24 frames per second, so this is the widest that the GoPro Hero 9 Black can actually go. There is although an attachment that you can put on the GoPro Hero 9 Black, which is called the Max Lens mod, which I don't have. That's going to cost you an extra $100 $6, so I'm not going to be putting that into this review because that's just an accessory that you have. We're looking at the inbuilt features on these cameras so that we can compare them fairly. Okay, and now we're doing this on the widest lens that the GoPro Max has, which is the Max Super View lens. This is shooting at 1080p at 24 frames per second because there is no 4K at 24 frames per second, especially in hero mode. So this is the widest lens that we have here for vlogging. I think I have a feeling that this lens is just a bit wider than what you have with the Hero 9 Black. The GoPro Max has this inbuilt and I think it's fantastic. And just for the sake of it, this is a vlogging test on the GoPro Max using the 360 mode. I know this is not a fair comparison and this is definitely not something you should be considering when you're trying to compare the GoPro 9 and the Pro Max because they're completely different cameras. But I also know for a fact that a lot of people who watch this video are going to leave me a comment asking me to show them if you can vlog when you're shooting in 360. So here we go. This is what it looks like when you're vlogging in 360. I'm going to do a couple of turnarounds so that you can see the area where I'm walking at and show you what the 360 capabilities are of this camera. So yes, the Max is a great 360 camera. There's no winning from that. And this is what it looks like when you're vlogging on the GoPro Max. Okay, so when it comes to battery life, I think both these cameras are very, very similar. To be completely honest, they come very, very close. If you're shooting in 5K on the GoPro 9, you're going to get weaker battery life. If you're shooting in 360 mode on the GoPro Max, you're going to get weaker battery life. But when it comes down to comparing the hero mode and the regular 4K mode on the GoPro 9, I think the Max is a little bit better. The GoPro Max does have maybe 20 minutes more battery life than the Hero 9 does if you're shooting in 4K on the Hero 9 and if you're shooting in 1080p 60 on the GoPro Max. You're going to need more than one battery on both these cameras to get through your day. Okay, so I know the GoPro Max is a 360 camera and a lot of people on this channel would want to know how the 360 video on this actually looks, but we're not really doing that here today. I have an entire dedicated video on the GoPro Max, on its 360 capabilities on the channel. I'm going to leave it in the cards here or in the description for you guys to check it out. I'm filming this part in 360, but the main reason why I'm comparing the GoPro Max in this entire video using the hero mode is because these two cameras, the Hero 9 Black and the GoPro Max, are so different. They're completely different genres of cameras. Yes, in theory they both are action cameras and the GoPro Max can act like a hero camera or a regular GoPro. And that's exactly where the comparison factor comes in. So just to keep this comparison super fair so that we don't have any bias towards the GoPro Max, which we all know I absolutely love, we have shot this entire video using it in hero mode and making use of the 1080p maximum resolution that you get in hero mode, and that's just the way it is. That's the fairest comparison that I can give you. So now that we've seen the resolution, we have gone through a bunch of video tests, time-lapse tests, time warp tests on these cameras. We've done vlogging tests. I think it's officially time for us to head back to my house because it's super hot today. I'm going to change up a little bit and we're going to talk about these cameras. I'm going to help you decide which camera you should actually buy out of the GoPro Max and the GoPro Hero 9 Black. I'm going to give you a few pointers that are going to help you make this decision right now in 2021. Let's do this. Okay guys, now you guys have already seen what these cameras actually look like in the real world. A couple of people are going to like the image that comes out of the GoPro Max and a lot of people are going to enjoy the traditional GoPro 9. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's really similar, like I said, between these two cameras. There's a couple of things you guys actually need to know before you go out and purchase the camera. The GoPro Max is supposed to give you 5.7K of resolution. Now, to be completely honest, it gives you 5.7K of resolution, but you have to remember it gives you 5.7K using both the lenses in 360 mode, which basically means when you're shooting 360, which is basically like a globe, it's a circular image, that 5.7K resolution is spread out, which means the pixels are spread out apart. So when you actually shoot in 360, you will get 5.7K, but most of you who are buying this camera are probably going to buy it, shoot in 360 mode, then you're going to bring the 360 image from here into your phone or into the GoPro player on your computer, reframe it to be 16:9 for YouTube, 9:16 for TikTok and Instagram, or 4:3 for Instagram again. So when you change a video from 360 to any other aspect ratio, your resolution is going to drop. You're going to take a portion of that circular image, flatten it out. You're going to bring down the resolution to 1080p. The whole reframing process pretty much works like a crop. Whereas on the GoPro 9, this is a whole different scenario and the pixels are in 5K and they're on a smaller sensor, so they're closer and they're packed next to each other and there's no reframing. So at any given point in time, when you're shooting on this camera, you're going to get an actual 5K image. So that's the difference between the GoPro Max and the Hero 9 Black. Also, the frame rates, this definitely has a lot more options, but these are a few things you definitely want to keep in mind. 360. Do you need a 360 camera? Is 360 the kind of content that you want to break into? Well, then it's really simple. The only option you have in the GoPro line is the GoPro Max. The Hero 9 is not a 360 camera, so if you like the idea of shooting 360, this is definitely the camera that you want to go for. The next thing you want to consider is ease of use. Now, every GoPro is super easy to use. Insanely easy. GoPros are the easiest cameras on the market. Hero 9 Black and the GoPro Max. Easier camera, according to me, to use is the GoPro Max. It's very automated. You don't even need to point this camera in any particular particular direction when you're shooting on it. You hit the record button, this is going to shoot everything around you. You export the footage from this camera to your phone or to your computer. With a few taps on your screen, you can reframe the image, get whatever you want in frame, and boom, you're ready with the final image. Whereas this camera, actually have to frame up your shot, you have to see what you're shooting to make sure your subject is in frame at all times. Everything's being recorded on this. You don't need to worry about it. If you just want the easiest GoPro camera on the market to use, the Max is your baby. Another thing you want to keep in mind is while both these cameras are fantastic, I would still go out on a limb and say the GoPro 9 has much better video quality just because of the actual resolution that you get out of this camera. You can use this camera with the GoPro media mode. You can add external lights, you can add an external lens, you can add an external mic to it. You can really build up the quality that you're actually filming at using this camera. Whereas the GoPro Max, you can't really add any accessories to it. There are no mods to it, but because it's a 360 camera, it's definitely a lot more creative. So long story short, if you want a camera that will give you a lot more creative flexibility, the GoPro Max is going to win on that front. But if you want a camera that gives you the best quality in the GoPro line, the Hero 9 is the one that wins on that front. These were my final considerations that you guys have to keep in mind before you actually go out and pick one of these two cameras on the market. Now personally, if you ask me which camera you should go for, I think the GoPro 9 is the better camera for majority of the people in the market. It's more like a traditional camera, so you have flexibility to grow as a filmmaker using this. Whereas the GoPro Max, it's no slouch. 360 content, as amazing as it is, not everyone wants to dive into it, and it's still very, very niche. I think majority of the people, if you really want to grow as a photographer or a filmmaker, should go for the GoPro 9 because this is something that you can actually learn to film on, and that's exactly what I would recommend to most people. Both these cameras are fantastic. That's it, you guys. That's all from me today on the GoPro Max and the GoPro Hero 9 Black. I'm a big GoPro fan, and I hope this video brought you guys some value. If it did, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Leave me a comment in the comment section if you want to know anything specific about these cameras, and I hope this video helps you make an informed purchase decision. This was Nitin Chawla. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace.